Welcome, Sagittarius. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your full moon in Aquarius reading. The full moon's on the 9th of August, and Mercury, there are many planetary alignments and conjunctions and aspects being made at this time, but Mercury notably is still in retrograde. A few days later, it will move stationary direct, but it will be covering its shadow period. So we're still being given the grace to review our plans, integrate our ideas, having reviewed the best strategies and information, actions to move forward with. So I believe this really amplifies this intense and powerful time in which we are experiencing and adjusting to an alignment that is facilitating our growth and our greater advancement, our self-conscious awareness. So for a little context, Sagittarius, we have the Two of Wands indicating that you have a plan, you understand your strength, your position, where you're operating from, but there's some hesitancy and unclarity about whether you can move forward with some aspect of it. This may be making a proposal, inviting someone into an effort that you're making, expressing your feelings or thoughts to someone. Underneath the deck, the Six of Cups. Yeah, I do believe this is about a reconnection, if not to an individual. This is a reconnection to a goal, a gift that you have carried with you for a while since your early life. Some place where you recognized a talent or a skill, a gift you had that you were able to exercise with joy and bring joy to others in the process, so that you have fond memories of being in this gift, being in this energy where there was no judgment, no agenda, no expectation around your being playful, creative, having fun with it, and giving joy. And you desire to reconnect with that feeling for sure. Whether this is an individual or an opportunity, it is the feeling of joy. It is the feeling of being in the flow, understanding the power of exercising what comes natural to you without filters, or with some filters perhaps, that you are contemplating. And that for some of you, there's some anguish about this because it's calling into question your own idea of how you're being perceived. And it calls into question what you always assume is your questing, adventurous intellect, the desire to learn and grow. You're feeling somehow ambivalent about that in this moment. I'm going to start here with a glyph oracle card, and I pulled from there the Eye of Horus and Omniscience. The number 34 may be relevant to you. It reduces to a number 7, which is very much about focusing on your goals from a place of complete self-acceptance, understanding that you have a unique contribution to make, and you are putting all of your attention and creating all the sacred space you need to exercise that gift in order to achieve something. I'm going to read from the Oracle book here. The Eye of Horus. The Eye of Horus represents themes of universal wisdom and divine protection. According to legend, Horus, the falcon god of the sun, lost his eye in a fierce battle with his uncle Set, the god of chaos. The eye was later restored by Thoth, the god of wisdom, symbolizing healing and the triumph of order over chaos. The eye was ubiquitously used in ancient Egypt as an amulet for protection, and beyond its protective qualities, it was considered a symbol of wisdom and insight. The eye represents perception and omniscience, reflecting the idea that nothing escapes the watchful eye, gaze of the divine. This glyph has retained its resonance into the modern day and continues to symbolize the importance of inner vision and seeking understanding of universal spiritual truths. What jumps out to me from this particular card, from the meanings that are summarized, is what you seek is seeking you. You inherently possess and have unlimited access to the ancient wisdom of collective consciousness. This is powerful, and this is appropriately located in the space in your chart for learning, growing, communicating. This also almost reads to me as though you are a channel. You are a medium for the expression, for the understanding of sacred knowledge, and that you are gaining a perspective that is helping you to address those things you want to connect with, a place where you don't question your inspirations, your motivations, your intellect, or your powers or capabilities to carry this out. You are connected with the all-seeing eye. It doesn't matter what your spiritual or religious practices are, you are connected to the sacred. This is basically what has become your frame of understanding in the world, your frame of expression. Understanding that this is what you've been questing after, what you seek has been seeking you. I love this because I associate, Sagittarius, your characteristic qualities as being a quester, a seeker, an adventurer, one who is off looking for the meaning, looking for those experiences that give our lives meaning. And from the Seed and Sickle, I pulled the Citrus card. This feels thick. And the number is 45, and that reduces to a number 9, which is about the end of a cycle and the completion, the holistic completion of a cycle. So I'm going to read from the Dawn book now, and I will finish up this reading from the Dusk book. So the Dawn book is about efforts that you're externalizing in the world. This is a card of capability and empowerment. You've been stuck in a limbo lately, waiting for someone to make the time to help you. Ultimately, however, it will be faster to brush up on your skills you lack and do things yourself. Be like a citrus fruit with all its important nutrients. Fill yourself with value and strength that will benefit you both now and in the future. Very interesting. So I'm going to put this here so I don't forget to read the other guidebook towards the end. And we're going to get started. This reading is intended to be a meditation for you. It is not intended to be answers about the future. This is hopefully a way that you can access some of your own concerns and interests. Look at the way you are being challenged right now and get some insight as to the resources you have available. So, in your 10th house, this is the way you see others and the way others see you. The 8 of Wands is about the speed of clarity. And this really is in sync with the idea of the Eye of Horus or omniscience. It feels as though a lot of clarity is coming to you rapidly. If this is about being stuck, you are rapidly being unstuck. But be not confused. This is clarity you've been seeking. This is not just answers falling out of the sky. I don't believe. I believe that you have been looking for the clarity, ways to uncomplicate and simplify your efforts moving forward, ways to move more successfully and more directly towards the achievement of your goal. In the first house, the Queen of Wands. So lots of wands here. This is about confidence. This is about inspiration. This is about your excitement. You're exuberant. You're full of heart here. And this, again, is about the way that you now recognize you have been so divinely protected for so long. Even when things were difficult, even when you didn't understand. And I do believe that there has been a significant amount of time when you just didn't understand. It feels as though the opportunities you were given, that you took, didn't seem to pan out, didn't seem to work out, didn't seem to last. And you believed that you understood the mission, that you did your part, and yet things seemed to devolve into a place where you felt misunderstood, exploited, or undervalued. But now you're to a place where you are understanding clearly who you are and where you're going. And you're looking at efficient and productive ways of moving towards that success. I love this. In the fourth house, we have the Justice card. And this is in the house of your foundation, your home, your domestic environment. Justice is about seeing the path towards empowerment in your life. Understanding that at some point you were so gifted, so powerful that you could not accept that you were deserving and worthy of the opportunities that came towards you. That's one story. Another story that's coming to me is laboring under the success of others as a way of understanding how to achieve success, but feeling exploited and victimized along the way. Not feeling seen or valued for the contribution you were making and the possibilities that you saw that existed in an environment. Because it's in the fourth house, this feels like it has something to do with your family of origin, perhaps your cultural heritage. There's something here about not being seen for who you were, this idea of invisibility, seen for what you could do, not for who you were. And that left a very, very bitter, angry energy for some of your life, perhaps until recently. But there is a kind of divine spiritual rage that I feel you believed was justified, and it could well have been. But there was an anger at not being utilized. You were like, use me. I'm a tool. I'm here to make a contribution. Why doesn't anybody want to give me the opportunity to let me show what I can do? And I feel that you overgave and you overperformed under that misunderstanding, under that guise of not being seen, until you finally understood that you were selecting these opportunities that were really nothing of the sort. You were consistently choosing situations, relationships that did not see your value or your worth. And you finally understood that you had the power to liberate yourself, that you were perfectly capable of creating the reality that you wanted, not depending on others to help to do it for you, to help you do it. And this is where your justice is really now the seat of your experience now. It's the foundation for the growth that you and the clarity you are receiving. So I feel like there's some kind of real reversal that has occurred. This feels very emotional. It feels like people, particularly loved ones, that have seen you as the responsible one, the one who takes on and cares for others when others don't, see you very differently now. In fact, I'm getting a feeling that they don't know how to see you. They don't know how to regard you, given the sense that has changed subtly within you. In the seventh house of significant partnerships, relationships, connections, the star card couldn't be more beautiful. This represents a place where you had given up hope. And I do believe that this sense of justice, truth, balance that you have achieved within your life has helped to unlock this sense of potential, that there's still something magical, enchanted, possible for me, even if I can't see it. You've invested in those talents that are, and that abundance, that gratitude that isn't always resulting in things or words or language. You're honoring that sacred space within you and within your life that transcends the words, that knows, that sees, that is powerful. And for some of you, this is a huge responsibility you feel, but you do feel a sense of hope where I believe that you experience more often a kind of oppression, and that led you to just not sharing, just being in retreat mode, just to isolating, just not speaking up when you knew that you had information that could be helpful, but you had gotten so used to not being heard, or sometimes speaking up just because you know you're not being heard, and then not caring, but feeling entitled to speak up anyway. I hope some of you can understand that kind of a complicated, triggered response. But here I feel that you're understanding the journey you've been on and why there have been the apparent challenges that seemed unrelenting to you, that never seemed to stop. And now you're understanding that they were all to the purpose of helping you unpack this beautiful range of gifts that you have, this power to see, to understand, to know, and how you're going to translate that, how you are translating that in the world is in a variety of ways that almost can't be defined in any traditional way at this time. Particularly those of you that do have a spiritual practice or do any kind of healing work, you are discovering access to new kinds of tools and mediums that were not considered before by you. So this is a time of absolute renewal for you, clarity, opening up the gates, choosing this heightened sense of responsibility as you gain your own liberation from the material forces that you feel have held you down. This is a general reading. If it resonates with you, please like this video, share it with others. If you think it would be helpful to them or enjoyable to them, I enjoy your comments, and subscribe to Pacific Tarot. I really want others to have access to these messages, and you help me do that simply by being here, in addition to all the support that many of you give to me. So thank you for that. I'm going to clarify the Queen of Wands here in the first house with the Two of Pentacles in the second house and the Three of Wands in the third house. This is quite lovely. So yes, this theme of two, of indecision, of going back and forth, I feel like this has some of the stuckness and some of what the clarity that you're now receiving is helping to move forward. In fact, you've moved on from this idea that I'm trying to understand what is of use from the past that can help to integrate into my present awareness and will open up possibilities for the future. So you've been dancing back and forth. Again, we talked about a potential reconnection with an opportunity, a gift or passion, or a relationship in the past. And you are evolving that reflection into setting up, moving towards creating a vehicle for you to deliver your gifts, for you to make a contribution, for you to do the work in the way that you understand it is done most effectively. This is the work of inspiration. So you are putting out your ideas, you're connecting to people, you're having conversations about this very topic. What you do, how you think it could best be presented, tools that others may have that could assist you, potential collaborators, letting people know how to find you. This is big because I do feel like you're coming out of a bit of a tunnel here. In the fourth house, the Justice card is clarified by the Three of Cups in the fifth house and the Eight of Pentacles in the sixth house. 2 3s, lovely. On the side of justice, I like this very much. This is absolutely about the way we are doing the work to create, to build a foundation for us to create. We're opening up to the support that we have, and that appears to be in abundance. There is a circle of friendship, love, support always around you. You know that you can rely on that. And in fact, they have shielded you throughout a very difficult time in your life when you were putting things together, when you were releasing the old baggage, the old story, and you were feeling your way into this new celebration of abundance in your life. And along the way, you are practical and have done precisely the work to invest in your talents, your skills, your resources so that you are prepared for the opportunities that you're creating, what you're building here. You're doing a lot of work to sink into your craft, your joy. You're allowing yourself to train yourself. This is like an act of devotion to whatever that craft is, whatever that service or product it is that you're creating. Just doing it, you lose yourself in it. You love what you do. You love learning about what you're putting together. You like the act of researching, finding connections, and just spending the time lost in doing, in making, in crafting, and creating. It's a beautiful energy that leads directly to success. The Star card in the seventh house is clarified by the Queen of Pentacles in the eighth house and the Eight of Wands in the ninth house. So now we have 2 8s as well as 2 3s. And I always like 8s. They're numbers of diligence, work ethic, responsibility, success, doing the hard work. And I think you've come to a place where you understand that it is the process. It is the act of being in attunement with your resources, your connections, your co-workers, your loved ones, modeling yourself on something that is established, that is productive, that is generous, and being in a place of receiving the rewards you've earned. This is challenging for many, particularly those who strive for success, learning when to receive the recognition, the compliments, without deflecting them. And here we have another Eight of Wands. So this is a double card here. I always like that. The clarity is immense in your life. The idea that the clarity is leading to new connections, a new openness, again, about making yourself accessible to others. This is huge for you. I do believe, again, that you are coming out of a more of a silent, internal healing process, particularly when you consider that Pluto was in Capricorn for 15 years, but before that, it was in Sagittarius. So you, depending on your placements, Sagittarius, you have been doing the work of restoring, rebuilding your own yourself through a real embrace of your own gifts. This is about self-acceptance. This is about seeing clearly who you are and the powerful influence that you have. There's something here about your voice, your presentation, your ideas, impacting people in surprising ways. I think often when you make a contribution, others are not really even sure or thoroughly understand the contribution you're making, but they do perceive that you are out of the box. You are coming from a place of originality, of depth, of wisdom, of understanding the bigger picture. This is something that you require not only in your life. You need to see the big picture in order to make the small steps. And this has bitten you in the butt many times, because when you couldn't see the big picture, it was difficult for you to understand what to do next. And now you're understanding, as you're gaining the bigger picture, that this is part of your purpose. You're helping to inspire others to understand the bigger picture. This has everything to do with community, with spreading the word, with connecting around the globe, connecting distantly to others. You don't need to see them, but you need to communicate with them. So this is really some powerful, very pointed energy about the way you're learning and the way you're sharing that learning with others. The Eight of Wands in the 10th house is clarified by the Tower in the 11th house and the Two of Swords in the 12th house. So now we have 3 twos, and I always like the twos for reflection. The Tower is exactly something that occurs to me as a result of the full moon here. This is a plot twist. This is something that is been destroyed, is falling apart, is dissembling in a way that gives you the opportunity to understand something that you thought you already did understand. But it's opening up a new perception of the world social order / disorder. You're seeing it on the big stage in a way that's helping you understand better your purpose and the choices that you're making now. Realizing that actually this is why you came, you chose this life, and that the choices that you're making were really never choices that you had. Of course, we all have free choice, but this choice is coming from a place of your deepest, broadest intuition. You are compelled to go in the direction you're moving in at any cost. And in the past, the cost has held you back. The cost, more responsibility, more weight attached to your actions and your words. Could you really handle that? You were insecure about what you knew or how you knew it, or your ability to be the one presenting it. On what ground? What was your story? What qualified you? All of that is dropping to the wayside. You're realizing that not only are you more than qualified, it is a requirement for you to move in this direction to achieve the contribution that you want to make. You may feel guilty, some sense of guilt about the experience of others who you believe have come to be comfortable, familiar with you, or even rely on you. But you're not losing anything. You're not severing anything. You're just moving in a direction that more closely gives you access to the power that you need and the power that exists that you may in some cases be confronting. I do think this has something to do about speaking truth to power, and that's going to be different for all of you, what that means. But for some of you, this is operating on a fairly large stage where you're having an impact that was unexpected for you and unexpected for those who have access to you, who hear you, who see you, who are in your presence. I would love to know how this is resonating for you, Sagittarius. This is so intriguing to me. I'm going to read from the other, the Dusk Guidebook of the Seed and Sickle regarding citrus. Citrus fruits are packed full of protected powers. In India, they're often pierced through with a red string and hung in doorways to ward off misfortune. You've been struck with a number of situations recently that you feel are out of your control, but though the circumstances that cause them might be, the way that you handle them is not. You have inside the strength to govern how they affect you. Some battles can be won and some are best left alone. Listen to your inner voice that already knows which is which. Aha. So powerful, so right on point and time. Thank you so much for this reading. If you enjoyed this content, there's more here. Please thank you for your likes and your subscribes. Until next time, Sagittarius, namaste.